Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba. Shake daddy da for me. You got it, let's get it. Fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba. Shake daddy da for me. Fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba. Shake daddy da for one more. Fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba fumi na si. Da da ruba. Shake daddy da for me. Let me translate it. You know what it is. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me. So I was wondering, who was it good enough for in these freedom-seeking times? It was good enough for Harriet Tubman over there by Cambridge, Maryland. She left Bucktown, Maryland, and found her way to the Choptank River and went on to freedom. It was good enough for a man named Gabriel Prosser. Gabriel Prosser was down near Richmond, and he organized Africans when they were in captivity, and some people call it slavery. He organized them from the Tidewater area to Goochland. Y'all don't know nothing about Goochland. And it was good enough for Denmark Vesey in South Carolina in that harbor near Charleston up the Coosa River and the Santee River. It was good enough for Nat Turner down there in Southampton County. It was good enough for Ida B. Wells in Tennessee. Give me that old time religion. As we search the history books and we search the stories, we find that one day Harriet was in, what's the name of that town over there by the Choptank River? Y'all don't know.
Cambridge?
Cambridge, thank you, sir. She was about, don't take me seriously, please. Please, y'all don't know me, but it's okay. It's okay. So look, so she saw a couple of people. She said, who wants to go to freedom? Who wants to go to freedom? Only 2-3 people raised their hand. She said, I can only take 2 of you. Said, you 2 come with me. The third one said, what about me? She said, are you ready? Said, yes, but if you're ready, then come on too. Harriet gathered those people and they went up to the Choptank River. She walked in the river sometimes. Sometimes she went out. It was an arduous, long, and winding kind of step towards freedom. In these freedom times, when we think about Kujichakulia, that's a Kwanzaa term. Anybody know what it means? Self-determination. Yeah. If you want freedom, you have to have what? Self-determination. And so it was Kujichakulia that made Harriet get on up. It was Kujichakulia that made Gabriel Prosser, who organized 3,000 folks for freedom. And the only reason they didn't get Richmond is because it rained out and washed out along the Powhatan River. Anybody might know what the Powhatan River would be? Some people call it the James River. It was Kujichakulia that made Ida B. Wells write against lynching. It was Kujichakulia that made Madiba Mandela get up one day and say, enough is enough. He had gone through trials and tribulations. He's gone through some hardships, and he decided that nothing would stop him. He said, it is no passion in living small. There's no passion in that. There's no passion in living in a way that won't serve you when you're capable of living better. And so, one day, that Kujichakulia spirit got to him, and he started fighting against the injustices, started fighting against all the things that were against his people, and it led him to a place called Robbins Island. Not the Robbins Island on Atlanta, down on the coast of Alabama. You know about that Robbins Island? There were some black folks there in the 1800s, and they were fighting to keep that island. And the only reason they couldn't keep it is that there was an errant cannonball that hit there. You know, it blew up everything. But it wasn't that Robin's Island. And 27 years later, Kujichagulia led Nelson Mandela out of Robin's Island. It was Kujichagulia that made John Harmon in Greenburgh, New York, where I come from. It was Kujichagulia that made him open up a bookstore, start an organization that will serve our people. That's what freedom is about, getting up and moving your feet. When I say I go, you say I may. I go? I may. So we find that certain situations will cause us to do some things, and you may cry a little bit before you get up and work, but that's all right. That's what crying is for. So 2 years ago, I was invited to come to South Africa by some storytellers, Kwesukela storytellers. One of the most wonderful times I had until I went to Soweto. Not that Soweto was bad, it was just that it was such a memory on me. I'd never been there before, but I heard all about it. I saw it on the news. We boycotted golf back in the 1970s. Was anybody there with me? So I went to the Hector Peterson Museum. I don't know if you like me, you get into a room and maybe you might get some goosebumps on you, or there's a feeling that might come over you, say, well, this is not right, go that way, or this is. I got that feeling. So I walked into the museum, and the first picture I saw was this young boy carrying a dead boy's body and a young girl beside him. And they were yelling something and they were crying. Tears dropped down my face, but I kept on walking through the museum. And then something strange came over me. I go. I said, this looks like Birmingham, Alabama. Same people holding up that same finger, yelling that same way, riding in those same cars. And I made the mistake of sitting down and looking at the video of when those children started marching in that township and seeing that. I turned around before I got halfway on the first floor. Couldn't take it. But let me share something with you. I couldn't take the Civil Rights Museum in Birmingham, Alabama either. Same faces on both sides, same struggle, same pain. Those kinds of conditions will raise up a Nelson Mandela, a Martin Luther King, a Mary McLeod Bethune, a Mary Church Terrell. Those kinds of things will raise up somebody in the 1960s to throw their fists up in the air, to wear a bandana around their head. Those kinds of things will cause people to want to act in ways that are unbecoming them, but they don't know why it's happening, but it has to happen because that's what goes on when you're suppressed and others are suppressed, and you need someone to have a Kujichagulia moment. Somebody to be self-determined. So that's the message that came to me when Busy called me, is just to let you know. I don't know how old y'all are, I'm 64 years old. time? Does I still have time?